In the 1980s, he was the storm of the decade, an unbeatable figure with a huge mohawk, heavy gold chains, and the catchphrase, "I pity the fool." After that, everything was gone. There were no more major roles, spotlights, or loud appearances. There was just a sudden, mysterious silence. What did really happen? It's not like any other famous story that this person just vanished. It will either shock you or leave you confused, and it will change the way you remember Mr. T for good. What was the real reason after all? Lawrence Turode, who became known as Mr. T, did not have a great youth. He grew up in the slums of Chicago and as a star in Hollywood. On May 21, 1952, he was born. He was the youngest of 12 children who lived in a small flat on Chicago's poor South Side. When he was 5 years old, his preacher father left. His hardworking mother raised the big family by doing all the work herself. Because Lawrence grew up poor and without a loving father, he became tough and vowed that he would be different and get out of poverty to earn respect. When black men who had risked their lives on the battlefield came home, they were called the insulting word. This happened in a place where racism was common. Boy, that made him want something very badly. Other people had to respect him. Lawrence changed his name to Mr. T when he turned 18. At that age, he was old enough to vote, join the military, and do what the law said. He said, "They have to say Mr. when they call me Mr. T, which means a grown man. Someone you should respect." A bold choice that showed resistance and a statement of respect. He was very good at sports in high school. He won a wrestling championship between schools, played football, and learned martial arts. He got a college scholarship because of how well he did in sports, but he was kicked out of Prairie View AM in his fur 10. His year for not following the rules. Rather than giving up, he looked for a new way to get there. He joined the Army in 1975 and became a military cop in the U.S. Army. He learned to be very disciplined and to keep going, which helped him later in his acting career. After leaving the service, he tried to become an NFL player but was turned down by the Green Bay Packers because he hurt his knee during tryouts. After what seemed like the end of his sports career, he got a job as a bouncer in a Chicago bar. That's where Mr. T's personality started to take shape. He was 5'10" and had a strong build. As a military police officer, he fought over 200 times and never lost. People who wanted to cause trouble thought twice after seeing how fierce he was. As a door guard, he got the strange idea to wear gold chains that people had left behind or dropped during fights around the bar. It was a useful way for people to get back their things, and it also made him look scary and different. After that, the picture of the neck full of gold became his symbol for life. He also got ideas for his famous straight mohawk haircut from Mandinka warriors in West Africa. Because he was famous as a bouncer, he got a job as a bodyguard for famous people. He looked out for people like Michael Jackson, Steve McQueen, Diana Ross, Muhammad Ali, and many more for almost 10 years. He was brave and loyal, and he even turned down offers to work as a hitman. Of course he turned down. Those years made him a real-life hero and brought him closer to the show business. He competed on the TV show America's Toughest Bouncer in 1980. He said on TV, "I just pity the guy who has to fight me," right before the final boxing match. After that, he knocked out his opponent in 54 seconds to win the title. Sylvester Stallone was interested in that line, "I pity the fool." It was that time when Stallone was looking for a tough opponent for Rocky Balboa in Rocky III, 1982. He chose to try out Mr. T after seeing him on TV. Mr. T's intense personality and look made Stallone decide to give Clubber Lang a bigger part than he had planned. When the movie came out, it was a big hit, and Mr. T went from being an unknown bodyguard to a rising action star. People recited his line, "I pity the fool," over and over again for 10 years. After that, the biggest chance of his life came up. He was cast as B.A. Baracus on the A-Team from 1983 to 1987. The figure, a tough, skilled veteran mechanic who was afraid of flying, became a cultural icon around the world. People loved how B.A. was both tough and funny, making him the heart of the show. He was making more than $5 million a year, or $80,000 a week, a huge amount of money at the time. He was on movie posters, in magazines, and even in the White House in 1983, where he was pictured with First Lady Nancy Reagan. That popularity led to a lot of spin-offs. He had his own cartoon show called Mr. T from 1983 to 1985. In it, he led a group of young gymnasts who fought crime. He came out with the Mr. T cereal, which was in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Be Sody, or Be Somebody's Fool, is the name of the life skills movie he put out. 1984, and a rap record called Mr. T's Commandments that tells kids to be good kids and not do drugs. From being a street bodyguard, Mr. T had grown into a worldwide brand and pop culture hero that kids and adults alike looked up to. But the attention didn't last forever. After 5 seasons, the A-Team stopped in 1987, which was a clear sign that his career was slowing down. He watched the TV show TT from 1988 to 1990, playing a former prisoner who is now investigating crimes. But it was only on a smaller scale for 3 seasons and didn't have an effect on the whole world. At the same time, Hollywood was changing. People were interested in different types of action movies. As time went on, more complex characters were added, like Arnold Schwarzenegger as the hulking Terminator and Sylvester Stallone as Rambo. One-dimensional monsters like Mr. T were going out of style. After years of hard work, his physical strength also went down. In the late 1980s, he occasionally showed up at wrestling shows, but he was no longer as strong as he used to be. Small scandals, like the uproar in 1987 over cutting down more than 100 oak trees at his Lake Forest home, hurt his reputation as a good man. By the 1990s, Mr. T was almost never seen in movies again. He only did small parts as a guest star in ads or at small events. The burning glory of Rocky and the A-Team was going away. After they left, there was a long quiet. People started to wonder where the man who used to shake the world had gone, and why wasn't he getting more attention? The answer would be even more shocking than a drop in job status. At this very moment, an enemy that couldn't be seen came knocking quietly, causing the Man of Steel to leave the stage. But that's a different story that starts in 1995. How to fight cancer. The crazy first reason Mr. T went missing. People thought Mr. T was past his best after the huge success of Rocky III and the A-Team and the slow fall of the late 1980s. The truth, though, was much scarier. As the stage lights went out, another darkness came in and knocked out the Man of Steel. This time, it wasn't on a movie set, but in his own body. At the age of 43, Mr. T was given the terrible news that he had cutaneous T-cell lymphoma, a very rare type of cancer. It was funny because it had the word T on it, which is his job name. "Can you believe it?" he asked with anger. "There was cancer with my name on it, like it was born to kill me. That was the start of a fight for my life." He went through many rounds of treatment, which destroyed his body and left him completely worn out. He had to put buckets all around his house so that he could throw up in them some days. He threw up so much that buckets weren't enough, so he had to use big blankets instead. After less than 11 months, the cancer came back even stronger. It looked like popcorn popping in a microwave when he talked about the sores and lumps that appeared on his skin. For 6 years, from 1995 to 2001, all he did was fight the cancer that was slowly killing him. Of course, his career almost fell apart. He was making as much as $5 million a year at his peak. He had small contracts worth about $15,000 left over while he was sick. Most of them were for appearances at neighborhood events. Just a few years ago, an A-list star was nothing more than a faint ghost. It wasn't that people stopped watching him. It was because his health wouldn't let him take the ring anymore. But the pain in my heart was what hurt the most. He had lost the strength to stand tall in front of a crowd where he used to be a sign of power. He said he had asked God, "Why me? Why did you take everything away?" Even though he was sad, he held on to his faith, thinking of it as a test like Job's that God had given him to see how strong he was. In 2001, a miracle happened. It stopped spreading, and he formally said that he had beaten cancer. The public expected him to make a fiery comeback when he was 49, but he had changed. He knew how fragile life was after 6 years in the dark. He chose quiet instead of going back to the noise of Hollywood right away. No more parts in exciting action movies. Stop trying to become famous. He thought about faith, peace, and ideals that were bigger than the stage lights. That was the first shocking reason Mr. T's body was found. He didn't go away because he failed or because people forgot about him. He went away because he had to hide to fight his worst enemy, cancer. The man who used to feel sorry for the fool now felt sorry for his own body, which had betrayed him. Still, he didn't completely fall apart in that tragedy. He came out a different man, one who was quieter, darker, and nothing like the Mr. T that everyone knew before. What faith did for Mr. T. If Mr. T's cancer was the sword that took him out of the spotlight, then faith was the way that he got through it. It may have also been the main reason he never went back to the noisy Hollywood of the past. Lawrence Turreau was raised in a Christian home from the time he was a child. He was 4 years old when he was baptized. And in 1977, not long before he became famous, he renewed his faith and said he was a born-again Christian. But it wasn't until he was sick with cancer that his faith really became the way he lived his life. After going through the horrible chemotherapy, Mr. T saw his sickness as a test from God. He said that he might have given up in despair without religion. From that point on, he believed that faith would never change, even if his fame or health went away, and his faith started to affect everything he did. Hurricane Katrina, which hit the United States in 2005 and caused a lot of damage, was the obvious turning point. Seeing people lose their homes, things they owned, and even loved ones made Mr. T feel bad. A man who used to be known for wearing heavy gold chains all of a sudden thought it didn't matter. He said in public that he would stop wearing gold altogether. "I can't keep covering myself in shiny things when other people have lost everything. It would be mean to God and to those who are hurting." As much as $300,000 worth of jewelry was taken off of his picture, ending a brand that had made his career. Besides jewelry, his faith made him very picky about the projects he worked on. When Hollywood made a new version of the A-Team in 2010, they asked Mr. T to play a cameo part, but he politely declined. He thought the new version had too much death and sexuality, which went against the original's theme of family-friendly fun. Nobody Died was made so that families could watch it together back then. It's now about blood and lust. That's not going to happen with me. It was a shocking choice, but it showed how dedicated he was to his faith. For the same reason, she turned down many later Hollywood offers, as violent bad guys in flashy but pointless ads. He turned them all down. Instead, he picked projects that would inspire others. He helped families in need on the television show I Pity the Fool in 2006, and he also danced on Dancing with the Stars. In 2017, he did a dance to Amazing Grace as